Yeah, Leshrac, he really is a feast or famine hero. He's either allowed to show on the map, creep waves, towers, etc., pushing ult and Diabolic Edict, flash farming like crazy, or he just gets burst down full to zero. And I'm not going to lie to you, man. Every time I'm talking and I hear that voice line, I think production's like whispering in my ear, telling me I'm doing something wrong. But instead, it's just that whispering voice line. So I'm definitely psyching myself out a bit right now. Those voice lines, I think they're meant for the opponent, but it's actually happening to me.
I feel the same. There are a couple of voice lines where I stop talking because I'm like, wait, what? Okay. In the game, it's not production. Like I get scared the same way. Production getting mad at me. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Is my mic muted? I check everything, and let's see. First fight coming out. Burrow strike landing, asking some trouble. The stun follow up from Kits. Overwhelm getting the kill and first blood as the counterplay to a smoke gank of Wildcards comes up empty-handed.
I'll get over it.
Yeah, they were definitely ready for that. They had the ward preemptively placed. Wildcard felt like they were a little bit too well prepared, and you see the immediate ping after the engagement on the ward on that cliff, so it almost will certainly get dewarded.
Disruption again. Kits is here. They're going to look to get themselves a second kill. They land the stun, but Overwhelm getting a little bit low. Needs to survive. Pops the fairy fire. Alex focusing his attention out on Overwhelm, who got that first blood. They get the kill, the 2-second stun. Now on to B-God. They build up in a second, but elect not to chase and throw it. So it ends up being a second kill in the game, this time the first one for a wild card, but doesn't draw that first blood goodness.
I'm a bit concerned for the Cuts bottom lane because Hoodwink forced to go walk all the way back to base and then TP back to lane. So he's going to be a bit delayed. That's going to be a free first wave for Yamsun. And meanwhile, Ade having to play pretty defensively. Does get the deny on the range creep though. Bottom lane, so 1v2 without the Hoodwink. That's pretty big. Maybe my concerns are unnecessary.
Holding it down by himself, at least for the moment, getting that deny. I've been yelled at a couple times. Range creep, most important creep. Whether you need to get it or deny it, I feel like it's been in the vocabulary of everybody yelling at me quite often.
Yeah, that's the core's favorite thing nowadays. It used to be like, can you guys ward for me? But now that wards are free, it's more so like, mechanically, what are you doing wrong today on the support role? And we're vigilant, you know, as carry players, we like to know exactly what we want out of you. So the second you break that mold, we have something to say. As it's just a tough life out there for supports.
I try my hardest. Why aren't you pulling? Why are you pulling? You're not here with me. Just scrambles my brain.
Where's my fourth salve?
Yeah, exactly. I have zero net worth at this point. They've all been invested into salves, and the dividends aren't coming in. Stun out onto the Medusa. Now without mana, they've got the telekinesis to follow it up. Scourge McDuck in some trouble, and the Fade Bolt finish from Alex.
That's an incredibly greedy build for Medusa. He has the Band of Elven Skin to start with the Quelling Blade and the Branch. So no stat items in terms of keeping himself alive, no stick. And they recognize this on the side of Wildcard, punishing him pretty severely.
And getting that kill on the Medusa, now TPing in. If they could do that a second time, this time Overwhelm's close enough where he should be able to help out if that does happen again. But if it does, then you're walking back, and that Medusa game feels very rough.
Ooh, nice tango by Sammy Boy. That's the core player in him. He was ready. You know, usually you got that Quelling Blade finger on the trigger whenever Hoodwink throws out that bushwhack. But he used the tango to dodge that stun coming out.
Fingers getting rid of the tree, making sure that this lane goes well for Yamsun. I was impressed with Sammy Boy last game on the Death Prophet. This time I'm feeling like a little bit of a different hero, different objective with something like the Pugna.
I've noticed that whenever carry players transition to 5, they're generally really good in the lane. You just know exactly what your carry wants from you. As right when I say that, perfect time to die, Sammy Boy, perfect.
So we're giving the praise, but he couldn't keep it going that long, and now Sammy Boy dies. But I guess, tactical, giving the solo experience away to Yamsun as he kills off B-God. Gotta get the compliment sandwich going. Did well last game. How could you die there? You gave the solo experience. Great job.
It's really that's a roller coaster of emotions all in one sentence. But it is going pretty well for Ade here. surprisingly. You know, this is the last pick faces Void, first round Sand King. Sand King's traditionally pretty weak, levels 1 through 3. But this should be a pretty impactful mid game for him. I imagine he's going to be able to go that initial acceleration item prior to the blink. He's got the Soul Ring plus Bracer. He's already very beefy. I don't think we're going to see him going down to the level 6 Chronosphere of Yamsun like we did in game 1.
Oh man, the damage just coming out onto Yamsun. Forced the time walk. Not exactly feeling that comfortable at the moment. He does have a good amount of CS. He's 21 and 3, but living on the edge.
Yeah, the thing about Sand King lanes is they just get worse. Like Sandstorm, Burrow Strike, these are all super valuable skills the more you put points into them. So if the lane's like not in favor of the carry at this point, I'm usually not feeling too good if I'm laning against a Sand King.
Interesting little play here from Sammy Boy, and time dilation hitting both of them. B got one shot from dead. They'll go after Ade, and Sammy Boy gets the kill. Well done there. Played aggressive, standing right in the face of both those heroes, and then Yamsun coming in to help out, and they do ultimately kill off the Sand King, giving them so much trouble. Telekinesis again on Scourge McDuck. Overwhelm's here. He's got the help. Not exactly CSing all too well for this Medusa at the moment. Only 17 and 6 compared to the Void.
Yeah, you know, the panel was expressing their doubts about the draft. My favorite way to ever shore up some draft weaknesses, in this case the Wildcard, is just win all 3 lanes. You know, looking at the CS right now, and got the top 3. Medusa struggling the most in particular. That was the hero we were concerned about. Wildcard having tough time dealing with later on. If Tiny gets like a couple early kills with that blink on the Leshrac and the Medusa, I imagine that this game could just run away in favor of Wildcard. So they definitely have to look to maybe connect the 2 cores on the side of the cut. I think most notably the Lesh and the Sand King. You got stun into stun, the tower taking of the Lesh. Just combine your resources somewhere to kind of alleviate this early lane pressure.
Hits, and he was in some trouble, but a good bushwhack coming in. However, Alex coming around the bend and getting the Fade Bolt finish on Kits again. So Alex is on a killing spree. He's got 3 kills right now, feeling like a great Rubik game for him. And we're just, yeah, with the lanes going the way they are, it goes back to what you talked about before the Horn and how they really want to have a similar game as game 1. But if the pressure comes in and the pace is too high from Wildcard, I agree. I think this game just runs away from the cut.
Yeah, it's just you gotta accept your losses somewhere, and in this case, they're kind of just yeah.
There was the disruption save. I was getting ready to overhype it right there. Yeah, I jumped the gun a little bit.
You alone, like we both can just feel the pressure, right? That the cut is feeling. Like you're like, oh god, it's almost exactly how it feels if you're the Medusa. It's like, oh, they're going on me. Like you're feeling like this ramping pressure in all 3 lanes, and Ade, like one at a time, the cores on the cut are just.
Oh gosh, 2-man chrono. Yeah, it's just going the same way. Like you said, it's just falling apart in all these lanes, and it's another chrono where it doesn't have to be a playmaking chrono, gets him the kill, takes Ade out of the lane for a while, and just opens up for the Void again. Yeah, everything's going perfect.
You gotta link up on the cut. Like, if you keep putting 1 core in all 3 lanes, this is gonna be the status quo, and it will continue. And I would really love to see some movement from most likely the Lesh going to the Sand King or Sand King going to Lesh. Either one of these is fine, but you have to capitalize on the fact that Faces Void has no chrono. Tiny's rushing that Blink Dagger, so he's going to be being a bit greedy for the next few minutes. Something has to go in your favor, because if the game like stalls out until the next chrono, until that Tiny Blink goes up, like I think Wildcard, the lead will be insurmountable for the cut.
Yeah, it's already a 3K lead, and Esk is getting into a very quick Blink Dagger. He's had a lot of fun here over mid. Back up towards top, though. Medusa, no mana, in trouble, but it's just Dalai Lama by himself. Although playing Ring Around the Rosie and inside the trees, Overwhelm makes the TP in. They are sending a couple more heroes up here, and that includes Alex, who wants to continue to just get kills, continue the killing spree. They kill off the Medusa, and like you said, you like to see them link up, but they don't know where their link cable is. It's somewhere with their Game Boy Color, and they just can't seem to find it.
Ah, the good old days of the Game Boy Color.
I'm going to plug in the light just so you can see the screen while you're in the car.
And the nostalgia vibes. That was not what I was expecting coming out from this series, but kids. Okay.
Radiant's bottom tower
Keeps happening though.
Yeah,
he
it's
steps up,
like,
he gets avalanche tossed.
That's the thing is like as Leshrac, even if you're not dying, if you're like constantly getting bursted down and you don't feel confident to be able to farm the lane that you're in, you just fall behind as a hero. And Leshrac, he's kind of like Lina, where he's meant to be #1, maybe #2 net worth at this stage in the game, because the hero, he needs that second item. Usually you have like one acceleration item, and then you have the tankiness, team fight, you know, stand your ground in the front lines kind of item. And if you fall behind before you even complete the acceleration item, you just don't hit that timing that you want out of that second item.
Scourge McDuck again getting pressured. Dabalama's here, hops the ult, and then goes after this Medusa. They've got the help from Overlum, but Alex is here. A little bit sloppy back and forth, and Ade going in onto an illusion. But they're ready to continue forward. They get the stun. They've got the reality rift. The bushwhack is there. It does lock him down, but here comes another chrono from Yamsun. The life drain out. Ade falls. The chase is on to Overwhelm, who gets behind the tier 2 tower. The rest of these heroes are just hiding on the top end of the map inside the trees. They don't even want to show their face.
You know, I got to give respect to the NA region that ride or die. We will farm our way back into this game, but it's just not going to cut it against so much kill threat coming out from Wildcard. Like, all of their heroes, they want to run at enemy heroes right now. Like, yeah, the 5-position Pugna is decent at taking towers, but you think about Rubik, CK, Tiny, like, you're not going to get, like, a moment to breathe. You know, you're not going to have any fresh air for the cut. If they continue to just split up the map and farm, I think the lead will just consistently grow in favor of Wildcard, because really no like solo kill threat on any of the cut heroes, but they have decent synergy in terms of setup stuns for Leshrac and the epicenter from the Sand King, but he's actually just opted to level it now as Kits, they're smoked.
Ooh, Sammy Boy here, ready to go. They've got S behind him. Avalanche lands on both heroes, so now Kits, he ends up dead very quickly. They've got the telekinesis coming out. He's out of mana and might be out of hope in life coming out soon. He might even just be dead on his screen already. Sammy Boy getting the kill there, and they move. They finally link up. You know, they're working with Justin Ekins, and Wildcard are working with a level 100 Gengar at this point.
Yeah,
I'll continue the Game Boy Color trend.
Yeah, I was even thinking like a Gyarados or like a Dragonite. Yeah, it's just not the Sand King, though, is the problem. The Leshrac's connecting to a core, but the level 7 Medusa is not the one that wants to be taking part in these engagements.
Again, Kit's in trouble. 2-second stun with the reality rift. They've got the disruption, but is Kit's okay? And he's fine for now. If Yamsun had come from the top end of the map, they could have just converged on them and maybe gotten a big cleanup there, but at the same time, it's just the cut feel like they just don't have anywhere where they can be safely.
Yeah, when you're reviewing this replay for the early game for the cut, it's just about that Sand King and Lesh linking up, and until that point, I'm telling you, as like, at least from what I know about Dota, nothing's going to go in favor of the cut. You know, they tried to maybe make a rotation happen to top with the Hoodwink and the Lesh. I want to see a Sand King burrow into a Lesh stun and somebody on Wildcard dying. Like, I think until that happens, like Wildcard, they're really just playing with their food at this point, doing whatever they really want to. Sammy Boy's a 5-position Pugna, nether blasting some towers. That's just a really good feeling whenever you're a hero as squishy as Pugna.
Epicenter, Burrow Strike, landing on a 2. Can they follow this up to get some of these kills? The Bushwhack comes in. The life drain save from Sammy Boy. The reality rift on the Scourge McDuck.
There's no Leshrac.
Killing Ade. Dabalama surviving it all. Armlet toggling his way to potentially a kill here on a Scourge McDuck, and it will come through for Dabalama, who finally falls, but it will cost them dearly. It will cost them 3, and Wildcard just, well, they get to play the Wild +4 on them. That's the card they've chosen.
That's there's 4 heroes there on the cut, and I need the Sand King and the Lesh, same place, because that was a beautiful epicenter, 2-man burrow, and you just see they just don't quite have the damage. You know, maybe if the game was a bit closer, they would, but And when Yamsun's feeling confident enough to Mask of Madness in front of a tower, eat the Sandstorm damage to boot, and then just time walk away, that's just not good. Faceless Void is not a hero that you're supposed to be losing your mid-tier 1 to at 13 minutes in.
It's just about got this Maelstrom finished with the Mask of Madness. This time, Sammy Boy on the run, and they do get a kill. So Kits grabs one, and that's one you kind of want and one you hope snowballs you into something more.
Sand King and Lush, let's go. Party it up. Two of us are best friends. You know, buddy system. You know, you got to make sure each other feels safe and doesn't drown in the pool. As Lushrak is edicting the mid tower. They've got the counter initiation ready on the cut, even though the wildcard is smoked up right now.
Trying to take this tower. Kit's showing himself over mid. Esk right behind him does have that blink, so Avalanche Toss comes in. Buddy System trying to keep Kit safe. They've got themselves a good bushwhack on the 2 that stopped the Void in his tracks. They get the kill on a Yamsun with that. Big kill for the cut. They've not parlayed it into much more just yet. But instead, they'll actually lose B-God to Alex with a level 4 Fade Bolt doing the damage. Ooh, epicenter. Burrow Strike. Sammy Boy in some trouble, trying to survive in the Sandstorm. Sand in his eyes, now sand in his grave, but the stolen Burrow Strike out on Ade. Ooh, just about 50 health. I'll skirt out.
Okay, little sign of life for the cut. I'm telling you, I think Wildcard's getting a little comfortable here, a little overconfident. They're not realizing. I think with Sand King and Lush in the same place here, you're going to see Burrow Strike on 2, Lushrak stun onto 2. That's a lot of damage. Like, these heroes can absolutely get bursted on the side of Wildcard. I think Yamsun not fully prepared for that, as up until that point, it was yet to occur. So if Wildcard maybe overextends once or twice more, Faceless Void gets caught before his BKB finishes and Chrono doesn't come out yet, maybe we'll see a little bit of shift in favor of the cut. But as for now, the net worth lead's still extending. Number 1 net worth is CK.
Yeah, wow. Echo Saber, then the Blink Dagger after this Armwood. Abalama's having himself quite the game. 2-1 and 3, but farming considerably well, considering the fact that he's also on a team with Tiny and Void, who want a lot of space to themselves.
Yeah, it's just a factor of winning all 3 lanes, I think. Lets all 3 of your cores play relatively greedy. Usually CK, like you said, with these type of cores would have to spend a bit more time being active, but he's really getting to pick and choose whatever fights he wants to show up to, using Phantasm pretty much off cooldown in order to accelerate his game. And CK is one of those offlaners that can absolutely build to be a 2nd or 3rd core, even just like build like a carry, and you're not upset about it because this hero, with even just 1 or 2 strength items, absolutely chunks.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
This hero can really output quite a bit of damage, and we saw it earlier, right? In that fight in the Dire Triangle, he's armlet toggling, he's outputting the right clicks, he's really sustaining the damage. Now he's gotten into the Echo Saber, which make it so he hits even harder. Blink to keep up, then a BKB. Sometimes out of these off-lane CKs, you do see the Ags. But I do like that he's going for the Blink, and he's just trying to maybe even be that guy who blinks in, Chaos Bolt with the Reality Rift. He's the guy who gets the control here for Wildcard.
Yeah, there's 2 ways to initiate. You can be the Blink Dagger initiator, try to catch the cut off guard. I'd also be down if he just buys a BKB and walks in. I don't think he's really going to die if he just walks in the middle of the fight. Either way, it's pretty much his job to set up Yamsun for success with the Chronosphere. It's kind of hard to go first this game. The cut having a save as well as like ranged cores. It's unlikely to get a really beneficial Chrono unless something's already chaotic, causing maybe a bit of positioning issues on the cut.
Double damage is on the ground. Blink Burrow Strike a little bit delayed. S gets out of the way of that one. They've got the toss into the air, into the Sandstorm, looking for the epicenter. They've got the dust. The Burrow Strike lands from Alex. They'll get the kill on Ade after the epicenter goes off. Sharpshooter doesn't land. The stun does hit from Kits, but it's a 2-man Chrono coming in from Yamsun. Scourge McDuck trying to do something here with the Stone Gaze, but they have the damage to get the kill into Overwhelm. They land the Bushwhack on Yamsun as well as S. They follow it up with the stun coming out from Kits, but Kits is gone. B-God falls. Scourge McDuck all by himself. Should be a full team wipe, and they don't lose a soul here on the side of Wildcard, and that's without a Shadow Feat.
Yeah, the benefit of Leshrac is when he's disabled, he can still output a lot of damage, but when he got disrupted, when he got Chronosphere, the ult wasn't going. So they just didn't really have any damage coming out from the cut. And Ade, it looks kind of derpy when he burrow strikes like that, but he thought that Esk was going to go for the bait at the double damage rune, but instead of blinking on the rune, Esk actually blinked away because he had that high ground ward. All about the information as that initial chaos caused by going on Divide Llama, exactly his role in the game, sets up for a beneficial Chronosphere, and there's just no damage. That Pugna ward, absolutely obnoxious, that 25% spell reduction.
God, really doing quite a bit there. You could see just, like you said, lack of damage. Level 4 Nether ward. And that was something the panel talked about. How disrupting this Nether ward's going to be to the damage output of the Leshrac, and you can see it in that fight clear as day.
Yeah, if you guys haven't been keeping up with Dota, the recent change to Pugna that's made him rise in popularity is that spell damage reduction on the Pugna ward. It's so much effective EHP because you also heal your teammates. So every little ounce of damage you're reducing is also making your heals that much more impactful, and it's just such a common thing you see in Pugna games. People just don't die on the side of the Pugna's team, especially when you're this far ahead. Obviously making it even worse than it has to be because of that, but looks like Wildcard wants to keep going in the mid lane at least with the pressure. Sammy Boy doing a little face check.
Sharpshooter in. Tips B-God, eventually falls to Overwhelm.
You're actually so good.
It's the second time, too. He laughed in the last game. He's just having a little bit of fun here and definitely enjoying the leads that they've had, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, that's one of those deaths where you die to 3 heroes as a support, and it kind of looks like a feed when you're watching it, but he's just like, yeah, my CK's farming their entire jungle, my Faceless Void's killing a tier 2. That's what we call space, boys.
Potentially in a pub, you all chat, what, 3, 4, 5 heroes for me? Okay.
Yeah, or the good old for what, you know, support for tower for what.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Llama coming over and spots this Medusa. 3-second stun. Throw strike from Alex lands on the edge. Yamsun is here. He's got a chrono, so it does feel like this Medusa is dead to rights, whether or not they found some space, but ultimately holds the chrono, doesn't need to use it, and they get the kill, and they'll go with a smoke right afterwards, looking to continue on the pressure. Overwhelm. Link spotted. Avalanche toss. Easy does it. Put him up, put him down.
Yeah, it's just too easy at this point for Wildcard's lineup. Definitely just plays itself. You have a ton of magic burst, pair that with heroes like Pugna, Rubik. You have the stolen burrow strike, stuns for days. You can pretty much pick and choose your candidates for whoever you want to kill. Kits might be the next one up. Scouting.
They've been playing on the dire side of the map so often. They really are not afraid of this cut lineup at the moment. Right up on the tier 2.
Yeah, there's really nothing to be afraid of, right?
Yeah. They're at that point in the horror movie where they have the item to stop the killer to getting to them, and, well, there they go. They go right after B-God. Llama gets a 4-second stun, and that'll work its way into a kill there. All the while, tier 2 tower mid goes down, and I don't think really Wildcard have to take any steps backwards at the moment. They do have that Aegis out on Yamsun for another minute and a half. Cut have to find their opportunity in, and that's with a blink burrow strike from Ade. And the dust does land, but not really pushing it out just yet. Not going for the Sand King, just trying to continue to kill these creeps. The Sandstorm trying to deter them from taking this tier 3 up on the high ground. Does enough. It does its job.
Yeah, you just try to you want to make as many people from the cut go back to base. You got to pick off, so you wait till that hero respawns, use the tail end of the Aegis. But you're in absolutely no rush, even though you're against Medusa. This guy isn't really farming.
Hits, doing some damage while he's in the chrono and trying to beat out Yamsun, but the right click's come in. He's got the Bloodstone. There's the Avalanche. BKB is popped, and Alex will kill off Kits. And he does use that Aegis, but that was at about 30 seconds left or so anyway, so still full value.
Yeah, free regener in there.
And then again, Davilama going for a solo kill all by himself. Blinks in, looks to get the damage out onto Ade. Doesn't quite have it just yet. Was on the hunt for a second, but then Ade gets the blink away and gets enough space. Really playing aggressive on this CK. Especially he's got this Chaos Bolt upgrade with the Shard. It's that Phantasm illusion onto anything that he uses it on. Always nice to use that and farm these camps the way he is.
Yeah, he's keeping up that #1 net worth. He's been that way for the last like 10 minutes.
Oh, looking for the epicenter, but here comes Ask Avalanche as well as the toss. Sammy Boy Life Drain gets the kill, but Overwhelm has the damage, has the help. Demonic Purge getting the kill out onto this Pugna, but B-God caught by Davilama. And you've got 2 heroes dead now on the side of the cut with the team right there next to your tier 3 mid. Yamsun. Scourge McDuck almost walking forward again, where Yamsun might be able to get a kill if he starts with a bash. Then have the chrono for another minute, though.
Yeah, once these BKBs come out for everyone on Wildcard, they've already got the Faceless Void ones. CK's almost done. Tiny's is done. I don't see how they really kill anybody. They have to somehow survive through the duration of these BKBs and then turn and fight, which is a tall order when we're talking about the sheer amount of damage that Wildcard's lineup is representing.
Yeah, and they have damage that comes quick. They have damage that sustains throughout these fights. They start with Ask, who can put damage with the Avalanche Toss and the Echo Saber when he builds that back up. I believe he has the Ogre Axe coming out again. So yeah, he's got immediate burst damage with the Avalanche Toss and the right clicks, and then the sustained damage over time like we've seen from Davilama as well as the Faceless Void. It just feels almost impossible to not only eat through these BKBs like you said, but sustain a fight long enough on the cut to even have the opportunity. Time walk in, looking for the epicenter. They're gonna go on Sammy Boy. He's broken, bushwhack used, but now you've used a bit. You've put yourself in an awkward position if you're the side of the cut, and they're gonna go after the rest of this team. They'll use that chrono. They lock it down. They get the kill on Kids as well as Overwhelm. And they have looked for B-God. They're right up on him with a 3-second stun. The Reality Rift is there to get 4 kills. And all this is happening as Scourge McDuck goes to the Stone Gaze, trying to run away from this one. But they've got Ask, they've got Alex. They should have the lockdown. And eventually, you'd say that they should have this full team wipe as the 3-second stun comes out. The Reality Rift is there, and it's a triple kill into a GG call from the cut. And Wildcard will take it 2-0.